Hi, Bishop. Did you want to say? Okay. I want to thank you for having me. I'm doing a little cleanup, so I'm going to go through a section that is going to do part two, the introduction, because we missed the slides in the video, and then I'm going to go right into part three. I think I've coordinated that. So I'm going to start my presentation, and really what I'm going to talk about today is probably the thing that gets people most nervous. I'm going to talk about investing. I'm going to really help you understand why you need to invest, what's the purpose, why you can't really win unless you do. And I have personal stories of this, but I want to help you get through the mentality that you can do this just like everybody else. Everybody else can do it. You can do it as well. So I want to help you with that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen, and I want to make sure I got this right.
Yes.
That's not right.
Like
Oh, that's not right.
we see it.
Do you see how many works?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That is worth the audio right there. Thank you. We're going to talk about how many works, and I want to show you that once you learn these concepts, and it's going to take some time, but that's okay. We got a lifetime, and we got to pass it on to the next generation. So I like you to take this information and really use it, but try to learn it. So the first thing I want to do is take the time to personally thank Bishop Teresa East Norton for her and her bold Money Matters team for all the things they're doing here. I think this will have such an exemplary impact on the church, our communities, and our generations to come. And I just want to personally thank them for what they're doing. This, I believe, will help us through generations if we really take heart and really try to do it. Okay. The other thing I want to make a disclaimer for is that I'm a registered representative with PFS Investments Inc. I am not an attorney. I am not an accountant. And I'm not part of any, I don't offer any credit repair services, just so you know. Consult the experts in that. And I can kind of, the only thing I can do is point in that direction because I don't get in their field. They do that. I do what I do. Okay. Just so you know. All right. And what this section is going to be is we're going to talk, we talked about debt stacking and the three accounts. I'm going to go over some of that. And then I'm going to go into part module three, which is rule of 72 and avoid the middleman. I'm going to show you how, if we don't watch it, we become what we call we're not owners. We're always having other people use our money. So I'm going to go into detail on that. And the last module will be next week. But let me start by saying we believe financial education should be free. We wholeheartedly believe it. We got a book that we'll share, and you'll see that at the end of this, that we have a number of resources that are available to you that you can learn this the way you should learn it and the way it should have been taught in school. I'm fighting for that too. I think we should teach it in school. So let me just get with your mentality. I bet you ask yourself, how can I save for a future when I have so much debt? Okay, we'll talk about that. How much money is enough to retire? And what if I got started late? Aren't these questions that people ask? The other
Mhm.
one is, if I die prematurely, what becomes of my family? And can I ever truly become financially secure? I'm going to tell you, you can. Okay. You don't need to earn a six-figure income or have, to get financially independent. You don't have to have a high-paying job or a big salary. And you don't have to have a great inheritance or even win the lottery, but you can do this. The other thing is you can get out of debt, you can build your savings, you can get on the path of financial independence. What you have to do though is take control. The thing about it though, you gotta take control by doing the things we're talking about. Pay yourself first. We're going to talk about that tonight. Know your financial independence number. That's something we offer as a free service. We'll show you what that is. What do you actually need to retire? Those are things that we do through our programs. Adjust your priorities. I mean, these are mental things, right? Change your thinking on money. Money's not evil. What we do with it is, but money is not. You need to have it. So trust that you can get there and we can work with you. Adjust your lifestyle, earn additional income. There are ways that you can earn additional income, whatever that may be. If you do that, put it aside for some of the things you want to do here tonight, as far as getting your financial house in order. Rein in your assets or realign your assets, I'm sorry. Avoid the credit trap. I'm going to show you that tonight in detail. We don't realize how that messes us up over time, okay? And the other one, set goals and have a plan. The other thing I want to make sure you understand, there are things you cannot control. Do not worry about it. We can't control what's going to happen to Social Security. We can't control our employer. We can't control how the taxes will affect us. We can't control inflation, rising costs, or the risk of a single investment. And what that means is sometimes we put money in one thing and it collapses and everything falls down. We're going to show you how to avoid that. The other thing, what you can control is saving for retirement, creating other sources of income, the other ways to reduce your taxes. We're going to definitely talk about that part. Maximize your savings, saving more, and there will be incentives. What I found is if you can picture it in the future and you really have a target, it makes you want to put more away. I'm going to show you how we do that. And diversify your investment choices. Retirement is a money amount. It's not an age, okay? Just so you know. When you got enough money, you can retire whenever you want. But the key is to get the money. So these are some of the things. I want to give you some ideas of how you can go into this. This is basic goal setting. What you want to do is list your goals. Describe them in detail. What do you want, short term, long term? The other thing you want to do is get personal. You got to write down your why. Why do you want to do this? If you want to leave something for your grandchildren, if you want to do something, write it down. This is basic goal setting, but you got to have that picture in your mind as to why you're doing it. It makes you get through those hard times and really work it out. Prioritize your list, which is easier and which are more attainable. Create a timeline, put a date on it. So you need to know when you want to hit these goals, and then we can work with you to get there. Part of our program is to help you identify how long it's really going to take and how we can improve the date, make it shorter, and then do the math. How much money do you need to save? We show you exactly how to do that. This is my break right here. I'm going to pause for a minute, okay? Just for a minute. And then we can kind of run them together. I'll continue now, okay? It's all right? All right. So pay yourself first. I showed some of this last time, but I want you to understand something. We make a lot of money in our lives. We do. We just got to prioritize where we put it. When you look at this, if you had a $40,000 salary and you times the number of years you work and you work 20 years, you'll make $800,000 up to this point for 20 years. Now, if you had a personal savings of about $40,000, you would have saved about 20% of your income. Now, we don't know yet if that's enough to get you towards retirement, but I want you to put in your mind this particular point. Treat your investment account like it's a bill that you have to pay every month. If you do that, it gets you closer to your goal. By the way, I'm going to say that as a part of our communication, I put a lot of videos in here. So almost every point I make, I'm going to put a video. It's going to be embedded in this presentation when you get it. So I'm going into one right now. It's called Pay Yourself First. And I want to make sure we can hear it, okay? Can you give me a thumbs up?
Pay yourself first.
Excellent.
Think you don't make enough money to save some of it? Think again. If you earn $25,000 a year for 40 years, you will have earned $1 million. Earn $35,000 for 40 years, and you've earned $1.4 million. And if you earn $45,000 for 40 years, you'd have made $1.8 million. Pay yourself first, and you can get ahead in the savings game. Here's what can happen when you save just $100 a month for 40 years. At 3% interest, you would have about $93,000. At 5% interest, you'd have about $153,240. And if you got 9% interest, you'd have about $472,000. That's the power of paying yourself first. After all, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep.
So The next part of this, we're going to talk about the three accounts. We went through this a little bit, but I want to emphasize it again. You got three basic accounts. The emergency account, which is for expenses that come between 0 and 2 years. Then you have the short-term account, which are for expenses between 3 and 5. This might be a vacation. The first one is if your car breaks down. So you got to put these together. And then you got your wealth building account. Now, what I'm going to point out here that was a little different, those first two accounts maybe should be in a bank or a credit union. But when you talk about your wealth building account, that's where I want you to think about investing. And I'm going to go into that much detail later on. So the rule of 72, you remember me going through this, but I want to go through it and so you can actually picture what can happen if you do it the right way. In here, what it basically says, if you take the interest rate you're going to earn on your money and you divide it into 72, it tells you how many years it takes your money to double. The beautiful thing about this, I've done this on a financial calculator. It's accurate. It's not off by much. So you take 3, it goes into 72. It's going to double every 24 years. So if you had a $10,000 investment, 3 goes into 72 24 times, it would double to 20,000 in 24 years. In another 24 years, it'd be 40. But look at this. You double the interest rate. Look at what happens. It doesn't just double. It would now double because 6 goes into 72 is going to double every 12 years. So that 10,000 in 12 years would be 20, another 12, 40, 80, $160,000. That's 4 times more just because you got a higher interest rate. Okay. Now, if you did a 12%, 12 goes into 72 is going to double every 6 years. But look at this. That $10,000, this is how wealthy people get wealthy and stay wealthy. If you take 12 goes into 72, it's going to double every 6 years. That $10,000 in 6 years is 20, another 640, 80, 160, 320, 640, 1.2 million, almost 1.3 to $2.5 million. Do you see how wealthy people can stay wealthy if they invest? That's what I want you to understand. This is wealth building 101. If we learn how to build and get into these accounts, we'd be fine. So I want to show you another video. Let me let you see it.
Do you know the rule of 72? It's an easy way to calculate just how long it's going to take your money to double. Just take the number 72 and divide it by the interest rate you hope to earn. That number gives you the approximate number of years it will take for your investment to double. As you can see, a one-time contribution of $10,000 doubles 6 more times at a 12% return than at 3%. How many doubling periods do you have in your life?
So the other thing, start early is another topic we're going into. Starting early is so important. I hit this before, but basically if you did a $1,000 investment for a baby when they were born, and they kept that in that investment at 9%, $1,000, they'd have over $400,000. The key is they started early, put it in early, they left it there, and they had at 67, they got 400,000. If you started for a 16-year-old, it'd be 96,000. Obviously, as you get older, there's less time to accumulate the money. So starting early is important. The other thing is the difference between simple and compound interest. I'm going to talk about that 2 ways today. First, I'm going to talk about the positive side, you getting compound interest. But then I'm going to talk about it on the negative side, you paying compound interest. We'll get into that when I talk about the middleman, okay? So when you look at this, compound interest is interest on the interest you earn. That's really what it amounts to. So as you make money and that account gets bigger, you make interest on your interest until you can see what the difference would be. That $1,000 would grow to 400,000 here. And if you had simple interest, meaning just whatever it is, a 3% return, you would be at 7,000. That's the difference. But I'm going to show it in a different way, but I want you to see how that helps. Now, look, here's another thing that you do. I want you to keep in mind, it doesn't take a lot, but a little bit more always adds more. So if you had a $20 investment and you did that for 40 years or 10 years in this case, at a 9% return, $100 or just $20, you'd have 94,000. But look, If you up that by $80, you'd have over 471. So I'm going to go into my next part, compound interest.
The power of compound interest shows how you can really put your money to work and watch it grow. When you earn interest on savings, that interest then earns interest on itself, and this amount is compounded monthly. The higher the interest, the more your money grows. If you save $200 each month, after 35 years, your money would have only grown to $148,680 at a 3% interest rate. At a 6% interest rate, it would have grown to $286,370. But if you received a 9% interest rate on your savings, your money would have grown to $592,760. So you see, the sooner you start to save, the greater the benefit of compound interest.
So I want to show you the next part of this. This is another section on how the high cost of waiting. And what it amounts to is if a person, the sooner you get started, the better off you are. Okay. I want to emphasize this because I'm talking to people that may have children. They may even have grandchildren. This is the way you should be getting them started. You start them early, they'll be okay. All right. But I want to show you the impact of that. If you start at age 25 and you want to have $1 million by age 67, you need to put away $177 a month. As you get older, look at what happens. You got to put away a lot more to get to that million. Now, if you could start your child at 25, your young person at 25, they would have $1 million when they got to retirement. By the way, this will help out quite a bit later, particularly if we don't know what Social Security and pensions are like at that time. Here, if you show this $100, and if you just wait, is it wait 1 year? Yeah, just wait 1 year at $100. Look at the difference. It cost you $49,000. If you wait 5 years, it costs you $200,000. And if you wait till you're age 40, it costs you $429,000. It's a different way of looking at what we try to show is starting them off early. Think of your generation, but think of the next generation and even the generation after that. So this shows you a one-time $1,000 investment at 3, 6, and 9%. You see why I keep emphasizing you need to get a higher return? Look at the difference in the money. $7,000 maybe at a bank and $406,000 in an investment. That's what we do. Okay, that's how it works. The other thing I want to show you is even a difference of 0.5%. Like we're starting at 4.5%. If you double that, that's 9%, right? But look at how much difference that is. Just that little 4.5 extra. It's almost 600,000, $500,000 that you're losing just because you got it at a higher interest rate, but you got it at a lower interest rate. So I just want to show you those things. So the high cost of waiting, like I said, I embedded videos. That whole catalog is in here. So it'll help you understand this maybe a little better, okay?
The high cost of waiting. Want to save $1 million by age 67? You better get started soon. The longer you wait, the more you'll have to put away each month to reach your retirement goals. 27 years old? You have to put away $214 a month to reach $1 million. Start at age 37, and you're putting away $546 a month to reach your goal. Begin at age 47, and you have to put away $1,497 a month. Wait until age 57, and you're putting away a hefty $5,168 a month. Wait until the last minute, age 62, and you'd have to stash $13,258 a month to reach $1 million by age 67. So, the sooner you start saving, the fewer dollars you'll have to put away each month to reach your retirement goals.
I'm going to go into something else. Saving and investing. I'm going to turn the page on this. We're going to go into the investment side. I want you to understand why investing is so important. This higher interest rate is possible, higher return, because there are ways that they pay it that makes it better. You get dividends, capital gains, and appreciation of stock when you do this. But I want to make it so it's comfortable. See, a hefty financial future involves both saving for goals in short term and investing long term. That's that third account that I was talking about, the wealth building account. So I want to show you what that means. By the way, the government gives you ways that you can divert paying taxes or hold off paying taxes, and you can accumulate wealth while not paying taxes. There are ways that you can do that. The government gives you that, and it's called the power of tax deferred savings. So what I have here, I'm not going to make this very complicated, but basically when you have an IRA, there's traditional and there's Roth, and this one actually shows a non-deferred IRA. You can have an IRA even if you don't qualify for it, you just can't deduct it up front, okay? Just so you know the difference. But it shows the difference, and you can kind of look at this and see how much difference there is just because you deferred paying taxes until the time you retire. The other advantages. So we talk about deductibility and deferral. Deductibility means when you go and you claim your taxes at the end of the year, what the government sees, if you make 40,000 and you put away 5,000, the government's going to see 35,000. That's what they're going to tax you on. Now, all that interest, capital gains, appreciation that goes into that account after that point, that's called deferral. That means you get that and you don't pay taxes even though you're making money in that account. So that's the two things. So don't worry about this. I'm going to show you how to do this much easier, okay? But I wanted to get those ideas out there. So there are basically three accounts that you can look at. One is a traditional IRA, where you can deduct it like I described it every year, and everything grows tax deferred. Then you have those other traditional IRAs that are the ones that you don't qualify to take out a deduction, so you pay the taxes, but everything's deferred. The last one is a Roth IRA. Now I'm not going to say that, but Roth IRAs are beautiful in one special way. You can't deduct it, but everything grows tax-free. And what that means is, and at the end of the time, when you get ready to retire, everything in that Roth IRA, you pay no taxes on, nothing. The government says you can have it, you don't have to pay taxes on. So I'm teaching younger people, people that are working, anybody actually, that put a Roth IRA, because this is money, they're letting you put money away and you don't pay taxes when you retire. So the benefits of tax savings now and tax deferral in retirement. So what this amounts to, and I'm just going to continue because I don't want to get bogged down in this, but I want to get to the point. When you withdraw money from your Roth IRA, none of it will be taxed. So these are the accounts that we talk about. We don't know which one you would like, which would be better for you. That's kind of how we go through it and kind of explain it to you so you see which one is best, okay? Because you may want to take that, if you're making money, you may want to take that money and have it back into your, so that you can spend it, or have it somewhere else you can use your living expenses. So we go through this. I'm not going to go through this in detail, but these are some of the things that differentiate the two. And then I want to show you, this is my favorite slide. I think I've shown this before, but basically what I wanted to show was, if you have a person that start investing at 22 and they stop at 29, that's basically 8 full years. And then you take a person that starts a year later at age 30 and invests until 67. They just continue to invest. Now there was one from 22 to 29, they stopped. You see how much money? They have more money because they started early. They both are okay, particularly if it's a Roth IRA, right? That's all tax-free money. So become an owner, not a loaner. Now, this is the key point that I want you to understand. We are used to doing things a certain way. This is a break with that, but I want to show you why it's important that you kind of look at it a different way. You don't need to change right away. Don't make it drastic, but I want you to be comfortable with this. See, what a bank does when they get your money, what do you think they do, by the way? They don't leave it in the bank. But can you go to a bank, you put your money in, and you can go to a bank and get a loan, you can get a mortgage, you can get credit cards, things like that, that you pay the bank interest on, right? Now, how much interest does a bank pay you? I'm trying to simplify this, but I'm gonna go into my presentation here with the video, and then I'm gonna come back and try to explain it a little better.
Many people fail financially because they don't understand the key concept of becoming an owner, not a loaner. Most people are loaners. They invest their money in what they consider to be safe investments, usually a local bank or credit union. But here's what happens. The bank takes their money, pays them the current rate, maybe around 1% at this time, and then loans that money out or invests that money directly in the economy. The bank receives high rates of interest on its investments and is happy to pay you a low interest rate for the use of your money. As a general rule, what you really have there is a loaning account rather than a savings account. You are lending money to the bank, and they are making a profit off your money. You have no choice but to reverse the situation if you want to make your money work for you. You must become an owner, not a loaner. You must learn to bypass the middleman.
Now, what I'm talking about really right now are the accounts outside of the first two that we mentioned. The emergency fund, that's always in a bank or credit union. The second one is probably in a bank or credit union. I'm talking about now your investment, your wealth building account. So what interest rate do banks and credit unions give you usually? It's usually less than 1% to 5%. But let me ask it another way. What interest rate do banks and credit unions charge you on their credit cards? Now I looked this up. It's between plus 21 to plus 28%. Now, are you catching what's happening here? And the money they're lending out is actually your money that you put in the bank. How else would they have it? So they're giving you a credit card. They don't mind you paying that 21 to 28%, right? So what I talk about is, what if you could? What if you could? Wouldn't it be better to invest in a bank than with a bank? And what I mean by that, when I say it, when you invest in a bank, you would be in a bank stock. When you invest with a bank, you're investing in their savings and checking and savings accounts, which pay you no interest at all. Okay? So, but you don't take all your money out. I'm trying to make sure you understand. This is on your wealth building side, the investments that you have outside of those emergency funds. Okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. The reason you need to get a better return, I'm going to show you, it's a mathematical problem for many people, for everybody with us. If you understand, if you had a $10,000 investment at a 1.5% interest rate in a bank, the interest you would earn would be $150, right? But the taxes on that at 22% would be a negative $23. So you're going to pay taxes on that return. That means you wind up with $117 as the actual earnings on that bank account. So your account would go from $10,000 to $10,117. And what happens with it with inflation? Inflation eats into that. So basically your buying power goes down because of inflation. Your money actually is worth $9,635. So this is what I want you to understand. Never underestimate inflation risk. Remember, the key is what the money can actually buy, not the value. So you need to make sure you make more returns, because otherwise you're not going to keep up with the inflation. I say that just to make sure. These are deep conversations, but we can get into it later. The other thing that's going on is, before, almost everybody had a pension. There are no pensions anymore, okay? Everybody had Social Security. We're not sure about the next generation, right? And then we have personal savings. What it amounts to is we got to start taking personal responsibility to make sure we can get in retirement mode. And it's going to take us actually getting into these investments that we talk about. And I'm going to show you how simple this is, but we need to depend on ourselves. This is what we need to teach the next generation, because they really don't have any of the benefits that the older generation had. My father was set. He had a pension, Social Security, all of it, right? That doesn't happen anymore, okay? So the answer is, so the question you would have, what's the problem with, the problem with safe returns is that it actually, with inflation, it actually eats into your buying power. So what we talk about is equity investments. This is the stock market. Investing in the market takes you out of the savings mode into the investing mode. Now, the next question is, are stocks guaranteed? No, they're not guaranteed. There's also a potential of loss as well as gain. But for greater potential return or rate of return, many investors are willing to accept great degree of risk. That is something that when we talk to people that we work with, and I hope you know we talk to everybody, anybody that wants to reach out, we actually do an investment profile. And what that's for is to kind of see what your risk tolerance is So you're not waking up in the middle of the night worried about what's happening. Okay. So we work with people on that. Okay. So what that means is this is a typical investment. It's $10,000. It was in the market for 30 years from 1992 to 2022. If you had it in these investment vehicles, this is how much money you would have today. So if you had it with the rate of inflation, remember I kept talking about inflation, inflation went up 2.5, 2.4%. If you got that type of return, today that 10,000 would be worth 20. But if you were in the market, that same 10,000 would be worth 158,000. Okay? That's what we're trying to get you to see. So the other thing that I love about my business and the way we work with people, we actually have professionals that look at the market all the time. And it's sort of like, I'm not trying to be a financial guru on stock. I'm trying to help people make right decisions. But what we do when we put money into the market, we have a professional money manager. Their sole job is to make sure that fund makes money. And so they're looking at the market all the time. They study this stuff. These are those PhDs you see that are out there. And what they do, and their job is to help make money, because if they don't keep the job. Okay. So let me show you what they do. They take your money and they invest in companies like Procter & Gamble. These are mutual funds now. That's the name of them, mutual funds. They invest in Microsoft, Pfizer. Wow, that's something, right? McDonald's, Verizon, Netflix, Amazon. These are all common companies. So when you invest in a mutual fund, what it amounts to is my money, your money, and millions of other people are able to gather together and buy into these mutual funds and buy stock in each one of these companies. Now, this is how you can lose all your money, because I know that's the next question. You can lose all your money if every one of the companies, and there are 150 stocks in each fund, if all of the companies completely close down on the same day. If that happens, all of us are in trouble, right? But the thing I want you to remember is we use these products. Microsoft is on my computer right now. It's on yours probably, right? Pfizer is where we got the vaccine from, right? All right. Netflix. I got a subscription to Netflix. So you see how you're supporting your own investment just by doing what you do normally? And we can direct it based on what you're comfortable with. I hope this kind of helps you understand how you got to get comfortable with this, because it will work for you. Okay. So the 4Ds are discipline, diversification. Discipline means just keep going. Every month, just put something in there. The other one is diversification. What I just showed you is all those funds that you're in are actually diversified. They're in so many different companies that when one's down, the other one's up. So they always balance each other out. That's how you get better returns. The other one is dollar cost averaging. What that basically means is if you put money away every single month, regardless if it's up or down, sideways, whatever, that's how you actually beat the experts. They found this to be true. You cannot predict the market. And experts have tried it. But if you do the systematic way we teach, almost every time you're probably going to win. Okay. So let me show you another piece of this. In the investing mentality, when do we normally buy things? When they're marked up or when they're marked down? Usually when they're marked down, right? Well, why is it when we invest, we instinctively do the exact opposite? Because people say to you, I got to get out of the market because it's going down. Well, maybe that's not true, but let me show you why I'm saying that. I'm saying this word paradigm shift. You got to think a little differently. Maybe you buy more when it's on sale, as you would normally do. So I'm just saying, invest with your head, not your heart. Now, we help with that because I get calls. I don't get many because we kind of go over this up front. I'm going to tell you my wife's story. My wife had an investment. It dropped. You remember 08, right? And she asked, do I tell the story? I said, yeah, I do it every time. And what she said, we got to get out of the market. I said, why do we got to get out of the market? She said, well, it's going down. I said, why? I said, it's not a loss. it's only a paper loss. If you take it out, it's a loss. So I say, when do you expect to use the money? She said, 20, 25 years. Well, we got a lot of time. Leave it there. And guess what? The next year, it went straight back up. So I want to get into the men. We'll help you with this, but I want to just kind of get you to thinking like this, okay? And seize the concept of professional money managers, systematically investing every month, regardless of the market being up or down, sideways or whatever. Investment strategy is different. The time horizon is the most important part of this. So the time you're going to be in the market, and between, if it's 5 years or 25 years, you invest a little differently. And we kind of help you plot that strategy, okay? I know I'm getting deep in this. I hope I'm not losing anyone. But let me just do this. See, many people think that when you invest in a rising market, meaning the market's going up, you're going to make a lot of money. But they don't know that if it goes down, you can also make money. So I want to show you a quick video, all right? And I'm not going to go into this because this gets too detailed, but I want you to see what I mean.
People often believe that it's safer to invest your money in a rising market instead of a fluctuating market. However, that may not always be the case. The power of dollar cost averaging encourages you to buy more investment shares when the market share price is low, and fewer shares when the price is high. This can result in paying a lower average cost per share over time. In this example, Investor A and Investor B both invested $600 into the market in $100 monthly increments. Investor A purchased all of his shares as the market consistently soared. Right after Investor B started buying his shares, however, the market fell and then recovered to where it was at the start of the investment period. By taking advantage of the fluctuating market to purchase shares at a lower price, Investor B was able to buy more shares than Investor A did in a rising market. After 6 months, Investor A's $600 investment yielded approximately 42 shares at an average price of $14.19 per share. Investor B's investment resulted in 126 shares, 3 times as much as Investor A, at a lower average price of only $4.76 per share. That's the power of dollar cost averaging.
So this is how we get started, okay? One more thing, and I know this, we've gone over it quite a bit. I know some of it may not make sense yet, but I want you to have comfort in this, okay?
If you are like most people, navigating your financial journey can be confusing. Many people feel uncertain in one or more areas of their personal finances and spend way too much time worrying about money. If you're curious how to get from where you are to where you want to go, whether you're just starting out or close to retirement, if you want to know how other people are successfully rerouting their financial journeys to save for retirement, get rid of credit card debt, pay for college education and student loans, then we invite you to schedule a time with the financial guide associated with this video to discuss how you can apply these concepts too. We know you're busy and this is easy to put off till another day, but when you know better, you can do better. It's possible to change I'm worried to I'm ready, and that is freedom. All you need to do is select from one of the 3 following choices.
So you can do it. This is financial war, and it's a result of winning daily battles. That's what we're going to do. Just start winning daily battles and figure out how we can get there. So I want to leave you with this. This is my How Money Works video. Download the book. This is all available.
Whether it's right or wrong, society likes putting people into categories. Baby boomers, Gen X, millennials. Now the truth is, we're far more alike than we are different. Regardless of age, we all understand the importance that money has in our day-to-day lives. You work hard for your money. Don't you think it's important that your money is working hard for you too? To do that, something has to change. Because odds are, you were never taught anything about money in school. To take control of your finances, you have to understand money. You have to understand something we call the concepts of how money works. And then you have to put that knowledge to work to secure your financial future. It's no secret that most of us worry far more about running out of money in retirement than about how long we'll actually live. That's pretty telling. But the truth is, the vast majority of families are living paycheck to paycheck, and no one is immune to financial challenges. That said, there are people that have a good handle on their finances. They don't struggle to pay the bills, purchase a car, or even buy a house. So what's the difference maker? Understanding the concepts of how money works. But no one should be penalized because they weren't taught about money in school. Everyone deserves to learn how to make their money work for them. That's why we provide people from all walks of life a financial education at no cost. With our proven concepts, you can learn how to improve your financial situation and get on the path toward financial security. And this is how it works. Strategically pay down and get out of debt. Start a savings and retirement plan. Use time and consistency to stay on track towards your financial goals. And protect your family's income with term life insurance. You may not believe it right now, but you have the power to become financially independent and change your life forever. You really do. But only you can make it happen. And guess what? You might think you need to earn a six-figure income, or receive a large inheritance, or even win the lottery to do it. But you don't need any of that. You can get out of debt, build your savings and investments, and get on the path to financial independence. Are you ready to get started? Then take the first step and download a copy of the How Money Works book right now.
So, do you think most people are financially well off? I think the answer is probably no. And you agree that if you know better, you can do better. Download the book. We got all those links there. By the way, we do this as a part of the program that we offer for free. We do a financial vision, or what we call a financial needs analysis, a financial GPS of where you are now and where you want to go in the future. We also show you how to pay off credit cards, student loans. We show you a plan for that. Review existing retirement savings. 90% of the people I meet with, if they were on a job, and my daughter's included in that, hasn't moved it yet, they always leave the money when they leave the job because they don't know who to talk to. So what we do is get those accounts into their own personal accounts without paying taxes, okay? Without paying taxes. So that's one of the things we do as a service that's free as well. Best ways to save for college, we show you programs for that. Income protection, life insurance, will, power of attorney, medical directives, and trust is part of our legal protection program and identity theft. It's all built into that, okay? And this is all free, all right? We talk about a financial independence number. What we're really talking about, F&A factors, it factors expenses with inflation at retirement and what the withdrawal rate. So this kind of goes into detail as to what really you need to do in order to retire. So that's what the importance of the financial needs analysis is. And this is another thing. This is my information. The first one, I don't know if I could go on the sites, but the links are there. You can actually go into my website. You can go into this one is on the right-hand side is a link to our financial teaching parents how to teach their children about money starting at age 3. So that's something I want to make sure it's available. It's my way of giving back. If parents can learn this and teach it to their children, that's the next generation. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to impact. And if you set a meeting up with me, please do this. Mention CME. I'll know who that is. And then put your phone number in there as well. Okay? Because a lot of times I like to text. Just a note. And this is my calendar link there too. All this will be live if you get the deck here, this PowerPoint. So let us work together, and we can build and we can help you be your financial coach in getting where you want to go. And I'm offering that as a way of doing it. Here's another thing that we do. I mentioned the will, power of attorney. This is a link to that. If you use my name and that rep ID number that's there, they'll link you right in. You can call in and actually figure out which program works best for you. The other one that's most important, I think, this is my free workshop, but I also wanted to show this, the Medicare link. That's another link that we have. It's in that PDF that's attached. But what I love about it is you can go in, use my name and ID, and you actually can go in and they can help you enroll in your supplemental plans. Okay. Just call them and see if they can save you money. It's a perfect plan. All those 65 and older that are getting their supplemental plans, this is the way you can help enrollment. So when you look at these are the links to those sites. Never be afraid of something new. Remember, amateurs built the Ark, professionals built the Titanic. And though the past is set in stone, the future awaits your influence. And don't let your lack of knowledge rob you and of your intergenerational wealth. Okay. And this is that site I was talking about. I think I am finished. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you. So are there any questions? We have about 13 minutes. Are there any other questions? Mr. Lee, are you able to access that debt stacking video from last week?
Yes, I think I can.
Okay.
I have to
While we're
find it.
waiting-
Let me
While we're
find it.
waiting to see if anybody else has any questions, because several people commented about that. So there's a few new people on here. It'd be nice for them to see it. Again,
Okay.
you all can access all of these resources at boldmoneymatters.org. If you've already registered, then you have access to your library. You just need to log in and click on the flyer for this event, and you'll be able to access all of the resources that he's talking about, and you'll have access to the live videos. So everything is back there in the online hub. If you have not registered and you just got an email from the blast that we sent out about an hour ago, there's look in your chat, or if you can't access it, send me a message for some reason, I can email you. You can register there and you'll get access to the online hub.
I do have it. You would like me to
Okay.
show it? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I'll forward this. I'll get this to you,
I
right?
have a question.
Sure.
Okay,
You ready?
sure, let
You
me
want me to
find.
stop? I'll stop.
Yeah, can we, yeah, we'll take the question first.
Sure.
Okay. So you talked about, is it a buy and hold is what you were speaking about when you were talking about holding on, like purchasing, doing the dollar cost averaging? Is
Uh,
that a
Go on. Let me help
buying
you.
and holding on to stocks?
Well, not necessarily. What that really was about, it's a concept. No matter what the market does, this is the principle behind it. No matter what the market does, you can't guess if it's up, down, sideways. Everybody said it was going down. Everybody said it's going up. Don't worry about that. This is your long-term investments now. You got to remember, these are the ones that'll be there for 10, 15, 20 years, right? During that time, the market's going to do a lot of things. But if you're just putting money away every single month and it's going into the profile mutual funds that we set up for you, it does what it's supposed to do. It usually gains. I don't know if you know this, some people have gotten great returns these past few years. And many people are not getting them because they're not in the market. Okay. I'll give you one tip that I didn't, just to help understand why I'm passionate about it. You know, during the Depression, the stock market did great, but nobody was in the market. They were scared. Now, with all the controls and backgrounds and the fact that you can't lose everything as you did back then, I mean, and you don't put everything in there, by the way. That's the other thing. You got to kind of mix it up. You got to have your 3 accounts. That's why the 3 accounts are so important. And then you use your long-term account, wealth building account, as something you just put money in. And if you call it a put and hold, I'm not sure if that's the same terminology. It might be, but you do assess that if we need to every year to see if it can do better somewhere else.
Well, I have a small bit of stock that I had when I was in insurance.
Okay.
It's only a little bit, but it's through American Financial Group.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
I was
It's
wondering,
the company? Is it with the company?
yeah,
Company
it
stock?
was through the company.
Okay.
And I had it with Charles Schwab.
Okay.
But I was wondering if I could buy more. I should buy more stock when that starts to go low and continue to keep that.
Are you buying individual stocks?
Individual.
I don't deal with individual stocks. I deal with
Okay.
mutual funds. And mutual
Okay.
funds are you know, they have various stocks in there. You can buy
Okay.
real estate and mutual funds. You can buy anything you want. The big seven are the ones that are really blowing up right now. We can go in that later, but I
Okay.
would love to talk to you. But our strategy is a little more. Ours is mainstream. I don't go into anything. I don't do Bitcoin. I don't do any of that stuff.
Okay.
Okay. I got my daughter out of it. Well, I said you can play with that, but I
Mm-hmm.
do it the way it's supposed to be done and make sure you got money, which she's very happy about. Okay. But I
Okay.
would love to meet with you if you want to just get in my calendar and put CME and put your phone number. We can just meet and talk about it and see if there's something
Yes,
might be of interest. Is that okay?
okay. Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it want me to show the video now? Sure. Show the video.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So can you see it first? And let me start it.
Debt stacking. By taking into account the interest rate and the amount of debt, debt stacking identifies an ideal order for you to pay off your debts. You begin on making consistent payments on all of your debts. The debt that debt stacking suggests that you pay off first is called your target account. When you pay off the target account, you roll that payment into the payment you are making on your next target account. As each debt is paid off, you apply the amount you are paying to that debt to the payment you are making on the next target account. Debt stacking allows you to make the same total monthly payment each month toward all of your debts and works best when you do not accrue any new debts. You continue this process until you've paid off all your debts, and when you finish paying off your debts, you can apply that amount toward creating wealth and financial independence.
Was that
Yes, that was it. Thank you.
okay? Okay. That's all embedded in what we're going to send to you.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? We have just a few minutes. Any comments, concerns? Okay. Can you give us a quick overview, Mr. Lee, of what we're going to cover next week in our last session?
We're actually going to do a summary, and I know we got pretty deep today. I didn't want to lose everybody, but it's something that I think we just need to discuss. But what we're going to do is an overview. We'll kind of go through everything, and really we're pointing you towards let's meet and see how we can help you. No question is too small, nothing, the bad answer is the one that's not asked, you know, just, or the bad question is the one that's not asked. I'm here to help. I will work with you. And I hope you think, I want to leave you with one thing. I hope you're thinking that this is the way we can change the intergenerational wealth, not just ours, but our intergenerational wealth. This is how we can set up our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandchildren in the future. This is how we can do it. If we learn this and teach it to them and let them run with it. If they know it and they're good at this stuff, guess what? We won't have to ever worry about it. And they can take care of us too, right? That's what I want to leave you with.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, we want to wish you a wonderful evening. We'll be back here next Tuesday for the final session at 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, please log into the online portal and you can get access to all the previous replays and all the resources, including the document that kind of covers Medicare. We're in open enrollment season, so please go in there and look at those resources and have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.